Don't Provoke Senior Brother. Introduction. Yi traveled to the heavenly mysterious continent, where power is revered and there are hundreds of ethnic groups. By chance, he awakened the burial system and was able to see the countdown to someone else's death. As long as he collected the body for burial, there was a reward. Armor-piercing, blood-sucking, resilience, critical strike, counterattack, combo, dodge, and comprehension. When the 8 special attributes are stacked to a certain height, he is invincible in the world, overlooking the rise and fall of the world. However, there is a difficult problem that he needs to solve at the moment. People will eventually die, which is the norm in the world. But if the sun also has a period of death, what should we do? Just when Yi was puzzled, his master took in a little junior sister for him. I am Shixinshui. For some reason, I can hear the voice of my senior brother. However, being able to hear the voices of others may not necessarily be a good thing, especially when their strength is stronger than yours. For example, I always have to be careful not to expose them to avoid being killed and silenced. Listen to my advice, don't provoke your senior brother. He may seem generous on the surface, but he is actually very cruel. If you dare to provoke him, he will dare to bury you. Chapter 1. The sun will die. You are listening at novelfull.audio. All things have life and death, this is the law of nature. People will eventually die, either through birth, aging, illness or death, or envy heroes, and there is also a path to self-destruction. In fact, no matter how many people die, it is meaningless for nature, just like the earth will not stop rotating because of a person's death. People are like this, but what about the sun, moon, and stars? Is there still 25 years left until the end of the world? On the edge of the cliff at the summit, Yi lay on a piece of grass, gazing up at the dazzling sun above the zenith, lost and muttering to himself. Sun, 9125, burial reward. Level 10 treasure chest, 9125 is the number of days, and there are still 25 years left, which is the death period of the sun. He traveled to the heavenly mysterious continent for 25 years and accidentally obtained a system, which is the burial system. He can see the countdown to each person's death, and as long as they collect and bury their bodies, they can receive rewards. He was very happy to receive the system because the world was extremely dangerous. There were a lot of strange and powerful races, such as true dragons, phoenixes, ghouls, giants, and so on. With the help of the system, at least some self-protection ability was increased. The development of the situation, as he expected, relied on his own talent and tireless hard work day and night. He successfully joined the 9 Heavens Pavilion, one of the 5 major forces of the human race, and his strength and realm also advanced rapidly. Of course, the role of the system in this is indispensable. At the beginning, although he was not a Buddhist or Taoist, he never believed in the saying, saving a person's life is better than building a 7-level pagoda. However, he claimed to be a good person, and meeting someone was fate. Even if helping someone collect corpses can earn rewards, he still tried to help when he saw someone's death approaching. But later on, he changed his mind and decided to respect the fate of others, let go of his feelings of helping others, and avoid being moved by himself. Because good advice is difficult to persuade a dead ghost, although it is a pity that some people die, it is too difficult to save their lives and change the path of others. Moreover, it is not pleasing to try hard, and there is no reward for saving people. And for some reason, the person he has met, the person with the longest lifespan, is only a few decades. Early death and late death are all deaths. Why not let them die early and have a super life? Moreover, he can help people collect corpses, bury them, and receive system rewards, silently becoming stronger and stunning everyone. At the beginning, he speculated in his mind that there would be a devastating disaster in his town 50 years from now. But as he climbed up step by step, leaving the small town and entering the 9 Heavens Pavilion, one of the 5 major forces of the human race, he still found that everyone was like this. At that moment, he discovered a terrifying thing. He traveled through it himself, and 50 years later, at this point in time, it was not as simple as the destruction of a town. There would be a disaster that would sweep across the entire region, leaving people devastated. This discovery made him strive harder and more difficult to cultivate, because he couldn't see his own lifespan and death period, and was unsure if he could escape a disaster. He could only make himself stronger as much as possible before the disaster came, in order to survive the catastrophe. Until 5 years ago, he broke through his limits and was in a great mood. He decided to take a day off, bask in the sun, and be lazy, lying on the grass watching the sky. It's okay if I don't look at it, but at first glance, I just messed him up. Because he discovered that the deadline for the lifespan of flowers, plants, and trees in the wild was stuck before the day of disaster. Gazing at the sun for a while, a number appeared, indicating a countdown to death. When disaster day approached, the sun had to fall, which meant that this catastrophe was even more terrifying than he had imagined. At this point, he defined the time point 50 years later as Tianxian Disaster Day, which can also be understood as the end of the world. After observing this phenomenon, Yi Yu no longer practiced in seclusion, nor did he compete for the title of the Supreme Young Generation, nor did he compete for resources with others. Instead, he wandered around, trying to find a solution to the end of the world. When he saw that someone's death was approaching, he calculated the time to follow them, help them collect corpses, and obtain system rewards. Even though he often travels around and is no longer solely focused on cultivation, after years of hard work, he is one of the top strong individuals in the Tianxian continent. Even more so, he believes that there is no problem with being invincible in the world. His realm may not have reached its peak yet, but when it comes to actual combat power, cross-border killing is as simple as drinking water. There's no way, cheating is just so unreasonable. Remember to shout for someone when you see your senior brother later, don't rush into him. Just as Yi Yu was pondering, he suddenly heard a heavy and weathered male voice. Got it, Master. Master, what kind of person is senior brother? I always feel like what you're saying is so scary. Immediately after, a soft and tender female voice obediently responded and asked curiously. This kind of conversation happened outside the mountain, not near, but Yi Yu's hearing was very sensitive and he noticed the movement from a long distance. Master, is this an old man who has taken in another disciple? Upon hearing the commotion, Yi Yu did not deliberately pry, but simply perked up his ears to listen. Although people should not care about the opinions of others, in fact, no matter who, they will care about the opinions of close people. In the Tianxian continent, his closest person is none other than his master, Feng Bu. Because his master had a keen eye for pearls, he brought him from a small town to the Nine Heavens Pavilion, and even put in a lot of effort to cultivate him and strive for various resources for him. Your senior brother has exceptional talent and is invincible in the same realm. He used to be known as the Supreme Young Generation, which is not just a name for himself, but is truly deserving of his reputation. After winning the championship in the Human King Battle, he represented the human race to compete with other races in the Great Domain Battle, overwhelming the talents of various races and winning the championship. Among the young generation, he can be said to be arrogant, invincible in the world, and has the posture of a great emperor. Feng Bu introduced with an extremely proud tone. Wow! Isn't he impressive? But he has a cold personality and likes to be alone. When you meet him, he may not be as enthusiastic as your second and third senior brothers, but you don't need to worry. You just need to know that he is the eldest senior brother. If you encounter any trouble in the future and can't find me, then come to your master brother and he will support you. I used to be the Supreme Young Generation, but what kind of realm is senior brother now? Your senior brother should be in a desolate holy land now. 1 is agile, 2 is condensed, 3 is returned to the wheel, 4 is knowledgeable, 5 is divine, 6 is dragon, 7 is king of the earth, 8 is holy, 9 is heavenly, 10 is emperor. His senior brother's realm is so high. Little junior sister seems to be a little girl who is not very familiar with cultivation. She uses her fingers to calculate her realm one by one, takes a deep breath, and is shocked. Now it's the late stage of the heavenly sovereign realm. Listening to their conversation, Yi Yu stood up lying on the grassy edge of the cliff at the peak. In fact, he reached the heavenly sovereign realm 5 years ago and completely surpassed his master, which was why he was in a good mood. At that time, he wanted to congratulate his master, but suddenly saw the countdown to the death of the sun, and he emoted on the spot. You should know that the reason why he forgets to sleep and eat, and forgets the hard cultivation of the 4 seasons, is also due to the credit of his master. He wants to become stronger and strive to rewrite his master's death date when disaster day comes. However, the Tianxian disaster day is even more terrifying than he expected. The circulation of vitality within Yi Yu's body caused a gust of wind, which smoothed out the folds of his robe and then flew up towards the mansion. The master is coming, and he is also bringing his junior sister. Whether out of respect for the elderly or love for the young, he cannot continue to slack off at the edge of the cliff. The first time we meet, we must give a good impression. Besides flying, he also kept listening to the conversation over there. Master, senior brother is so amazing. Are you handsome or not? I have some of the demeanor of a young teacher. Oh. What do you mean by, oh, dot? The meaning of this oh is that it turns out to be like this, which means that senior brother, like master, is a super invincible handsome guy. Well, that's right. She. Listening to such a conversation, even Yi Yu was amused to burst out laughing. Even if he didn't deliberately look, he could still imagine the master boasting and being booed, boasting and glaring with displeasure, which reminded him of things from his childhood. When he was not yet growing up, his master often came to him to teach him about cultivation. When we got along, many interesting things happened. In no time, he arrived at the mansion and stood in front of the gate. At the same time, the master and the newly recruited junior sister are also passing through the protective formation of Linlang Mountain. Wow! Isn't this place too beautiful? And the vitality of heaven and earth is so strong. Shixinshui passed through the mountain protection formation, and in a blink of an eye, he was truly shocked to see the breathtaking scenery in front of him. The towering Linlang Peak, shrouded in clouds and mist, can be described as a fairyland on earth. High mountains and flowing water, lush with greenery, steep mountains, without a single mountain road, silent and solitary. Moreover, the vitality of heaven and earth here is as rich as mist, visible to the naked eye, adding a touch of a fairyland atmosphere to this mountain. This Linlang Peak is the best peak in the 9 Heavens Pavilion, and it was also the peak that your senior brother, who represented the human race to defeat other races' geniuses, worked hard to build in the pavilion to reward him. Fengbu stroked his pale beard and looked at the mountain with immense pride. The most self-satisfied thing in his life was more than 20 years ago when he found the good seedling Yi Yu in that deep mountain town and brought him back to the 9 Heavens Pavilion for cultivation. Master, is this mountain my new home in Jiutian Pavilion? The more Shixinshui looked at this mountain, the more he liked it. He turned his head and asked. Upon hearing this, Feng Ping paused and didn't know how to answer. Because this mountain belongs to Yi Yu's territory, not his peak. He is proud of Yi Yu, the great disciple, and also respects him very much. Even as a master, it is not easy to make decisions for his disciple casually. This time, I brought my mentor's advice here purely to make her feel familiar with Yi Yu, so that in the future, I wouldn't even know if it was a sibling relationship. Do you want to practice here? After pondering for a moment, he looked at her innocent and lovely little face and asked. Think about it. Shixinshui nodded without hesitation. The environment of this mountain is so beautiful, not only because of the beautiful scenery, but also because the vitality of heaven and earth is so strong that even her breathing feels comfortable. This mountain is your senior brother's secluded place. When you see your senior brother later, you can ask him if he can practice here. Fengbu saw how much she liked this mountain, so he smiled and said. Although Shixinshui was young, he understood the world and understood the meaning behind it. Although he felt a bit regretful in his heart, he nodded. It is obvious that the master cannot make a decision on this matter. This mountain is not her new home in the Nine Heavens Pavilion. How could you possibly live with me? At the same time, Yi Yu, who was sitting in front of the gate of the mountaintop mansion, listened to their conversation and muttered to himself. The master said he was cold on the outside and hot on the inside, but it was actually a polite remark. In fact, his temperament is indifferent and he likes to be alone, which is related to his ability to see the death of others, and it was developed day after day. Everyone has a dead end, and to this day, the countdown to their death does not exceed 25 years. If they are too close to others, they will not know what to do on the day of Tianxian disaster. During his contemplation, he was a little curious about the expression on little sister's face, so he decided to cast his gaze. Looking down, his gaze passed through the rocks and he saw the big and small ones at the foot of the mountain. The adult has crane hair and long beard, but his appearance does not show signs of aging. He is 8 feet tall and has a frame on his head, 9,125. This is the countdown to the master's death, and the number is the number of days. Lowly has silver hair like snow and moon, golden eyes like scorching sun, beautiful and lovely features, and a small and delicate figure, about 1.4 meters tall. She looks very young, about 10 years old, but she is a beautiful embryo. Most people's death date fluctuates around the number 9125, but when Yi Yu saw someone, he instinctively looked at their death date. The number 9125 may seem very small, just 25 years, but it is already considered a complete death. After all, it only dies when the end of the world approaches. Some people are unlucky and can't even wait until the day of Tianxian disaster, and will die halfway through. Yi Yu instinctively scanned and saw the frame above the girl's head. Shixinchui burial reward. What? Seeing the countdown to death above her head, Yi Yu was stunned for a moment, and a huge question mark also appeared in his heart. Chapter 2. Junior Sister. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What is the situation? Yi Yu felt surprised. Everyone will eventually die, this is an eternal truth. Even the sun will die, but its lifespan is too long to see its exact end. It was the first time he had seen a situation like little junior sister with 3 question marks on her head. What is this? The system is unable to observe her death date. This is simply impossible. You should know that even the strong ones in the 10 Directions Emperor realm can see their death date in the system, all near the Tianxian disaster day. This little junior sister is just a junior in the Guiluan realm, which is the 3rd realm. But the fact is, Yi Yu took a few more glances, and the frame above the little junior sister's head remained unchanged, still in a state of, dot. If possible, he really wants to ask the system what's going on. However, the intelligence of the system is very low. Only when he observes that a person's death is approaching, will a task be triggered to remind him to collect and bury the body within the time limit. He usually does not speak or chat with them. After careful consideration, Yi Yu did not make a hasty decision, but planned to wait until he saw the above before taking a look. In no time, Fengbu walked with his master's heart water into the air and arrived at the mountaintop. Master. Yi Yu was already waiting, bowing to each other when they met. Yu, this is a newly recruited disciple for my teacher. I have already met other senior brothers and sisters, and you are the only one left. Feng Ping saw him waiting in front of the door again, obviously waiting in advance. He felt relieved and landed in front of him, then smiled. As he spoke, he turned slightly and showed him the master's mind water behind him, making him feel familiar. Upon hearing these words, Yi Yu also lowered his gaze and saw a silver-haired and golden-eyed little one hiding behind his master, staring at him with a pair of big eyes that seemed to speak. Wow, handsome guy. Shi Xinshui looked at Yi Yu's face, feeling a bit dazed, and couldn't help but murmur. Everyone has a love for beauty, but children have a low resistance to things that are beautiful, cute, handsome, and attractive. Yi Yu, with a towering figure, black hair like a waterfall, a dignified demeanor, and a jade-like face, was simply stunningly handsome. He seemed to exude an overwhelming sense of presence, like a shining sun in the sky, making it impossible for people to take their eyes off him once they noticed his presence. "Thank you." Faced with praise, Yi Yu calmly accepted it. "Shixinshui, I have seen senior brother before." Shixinshui regained his senses and realized that he had been obsessed with his appearance just now. His face immediately turned hot, and he took 2 steps to stand up, bowing in embarrassment. "I'm Yi Yu, this is my senior brother's greeting gift." Yi Yu looked at her and in response, he opened his palm and handed a jade bottle to her. Seeing his enthusiastic gift, Shixinshui didn't immediately go to collect it, but instead looked at his master. "Although I don't know how precious this jade bottle is, it's not good to randomly take someone else's things. This is your senior brother's heartfelt wishes. Don't be polite, you worship under my sect. From now on, your senior brothers and sisters will be your family." Feng Buan saw her concerns and said kindly, "Thank you, senior brother." Shixinshui hesitated for another 2 seconds before finally reaching out and taking it with determination. The material of the jade bottle is very good, soft and lightweight, and the appearance is even more beautiful. This discovery made her feel like a treasure, with a feeling of being unable to let go. At that moment, she suddenly heard a deep and confused sentence. "What's special about this child?" Shixin instinctively looked at Yi Yu, and then turned to Shifu. In her opinion, this was the senior brother asking the master why he wanted to take her as an apprentice. Although the question was very straightforward and a bit impolite. However, before her master could speak, she heard her senior brother's words again. "How old are you? You have no breasts or buttocks, but there are also signs of development. Are you between the ages of 10 and 14? This time, it's not impolite, but vulgar. It's too much to criticize the development issues of girls." For a moment, Shixinshui looked at Yi Yu in shock and anger, but dared not speak up. Because the senior brother is too powerful, she is a strong man in the Holy Land. The lord of her hometown is only in the Dharma Dragon realm, so she already has the power to cover up the sky. She could only place her hopes on her master, hoping that he could say a few good words for her and restore justice. "Ayu, are you available?" At this moment, Feng Bu spoke up. "Of course, master, junior sister, please." The person that Yi Yu admires the most in the Tianxian continent is the elderly master, who even if he doesn't have time, will squeeze out time. After speaking, the gate of the mansion automatically opened, and he also walked ahead to lead the way. "Mind water, don't be in a daze, keep up." Feng Ping slightly lowered his head and followed his footsteps, only to find that the young apprentice was still standing still. He smiled and waved. This child, even though Ayu has some of his youthful demeanor and is indeed a handsome guy, shouldn't he be obsessed like this? Yes. Considering the disrespectful behavior of senior brother just now, Shixinshui has not offended any more. He is just a bit depressed, so he obediently followed suit. She couldn't understand why the master turned a deaf ear to her senior brother's words. Because both elders deliberately slowed down their pace and waited for them, Shixinshui easily followed suit. At that moment, she heard a voice again, but found that her senior brother's mouth had not moved at all. Is she a peerless genius? Born supreme? Her future is limitless. Is this a transmission? No wonder the master turned a deaf ear to his senior brother's words, not pretending not to hear him, but actually not hearing him from the beginning. But it's not very like Chuanin. Because the tone of the senior brother are not like secretly communicating with her, but more like talking to himself. Ayu, if you have free time, you need to go out and walk more. You have been staying at Linlang Mountain for the past 5 years, and people from other factions have begun to speculate about you, saying that your cultivation has gone crazy and your strength has plummeted. Walking in the hallway of the mansion, it is rare to have a legitimate reason to come and see my disciple once, which is also an opportunity. Master, if necessary, I will go out. As for those suspicious rumors, there is no need to pay attention to them. You didn't care about such trivial matters, just chuckled lightly. Actually, I often go out, but you didn't notice it. Can you say? I can hear senior brother's innermost thoughts. Although Shi Xinshui is young, he is intelligent. Seeing him say something on the surface and think something behind his back, he immediately reacted. No wonder senior brother seems to be quite easy-going. He even gave her a gift and took good care of her, but in the blink of an eye, he made comments on her developmental issues, which was not polite at all. It turned out that this was not just a verbal expression, but a thought in his heart. Upon realizing this, the depression in her heart dissipated and was replaced by doubt. She couldn't understand why she could hear the voice of her senior brother. And what exactly is this situation? The master said that the senior brother stays indoors, but the senior brother also said that he often goes out. You are now one of the storefronts of the Nine Heavens Pavilion. As the saying goes, there are no tigers in the mountains, and monkeys are called kings. You have never appeared, and people are clamoring to challenge you. Feng Ping saw his calm and relaxed demeanor, and after careful consideration, he politely said. Master, after all these years of mentorship, if you have anything to say, it's not necessary to beat around the bush. Seeing his attitude, Yu felt a bit reserved and immediately became unhappy. It's like this. In 5 days, the spirit abyss will seize the treasure. The lord of the pavilion hopes that you can show your face, preferably by killing chickens and warning monkeys. You see that others have openly spoken and provoked you, but you haven't made any noise yet. This is going to make people laugh. Feng Bu was taken aback by his displeasure and sneered. As the most prestigious and world-renowned genius of the Nine Heavens Pavilion, Yiyu's every move has attracted much attention. And his disappearance in the past 5 years has indeed sparked many speculations. It seems that some people are openly clamoring, not those who are unaware of life or death and seek their own way, but other forces are secretly sending people to test the situation. Yu reading www.yuyukeangshu.net wants to confirm Yiyu's situation. You should know that having Yiyu, a peerless genius who claims to have the posture of a great emperor, in the Nine Heavens Pavilion is equivalent to having a powerful trump card. Since the master has already spoken, let me go. Upon learning of his expectations, Yiyu readily agreed without hesitation. He is too lazy to pay attention to the hidden struggles of various forces in the Tianxian continent, because the top priority is to figure out why the sun fell on the Tianxian disaster day and how to break the situation. Is it a warning to the monkeys to kill the chickens? There are still 2 days left until Yan Tianhao's death. Anyway, we need to go and bury him. It's just a long time since we've seen each other, so we'll show up and kill a few people to establish our power. Upon hearing this, Shixinshui's heart skipped a beat. It's burying people again, and killing a few people to establish power. What is this, senior brother, treating human life as? If senior brother finds out that I can hear his innermost thoughts, wouldn't he kill someone and silence him? Shixinshui turned his head to look at the parallel senior brother, his cold and handsome face, and his heart couldn't help but accelerate. This was not a sudden heartbeat, but a frightened one. The tone of the senior brother was too calm. Killing a few people was like killing a chicken to him, killing as you please, without taking human life seriously. If senior brother finds out that he can hear his innermost thoughts, he might do something. Junior sister, what's wrong? Yiyu's senses were very sensitive, and he noticed the gaze she cast and asked. It's okay. Shi Xinshui saw him casting a calm but sharp gaze and quickly shook his head, afraid of revealing any flaws. How do you feel like she's a bit afraid of me? Didn't she just be a flower addict? Yiyu was surprised to see her nervousness and intense reaction. Chapter 3. Enlightenment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yi Yu's mansion is very spacious because he has already opened up a valley and does not eat or drink, which has no impact. There are no servants around to serve him. The three of them arrived at the main hall and sat down. "Master, where did you find your junior sister?" Yi Yu took out a pot of wine from the storage ring and placed it on the table, then asked curiously. For this little junior sister, he has a lot to ask, especially to understand what her background is and why she can't see the deadline. "I went to attend a grand event recently and passed by a small town called Lianyan on the way. I met this child. I found that she didn't have the guidance of a famous teacher and could reach the mid-stage of the Gueluan realm at the age of 11. Her talent was remarkable. Seeing that she had some eye contact, I accepted her." Regarding the disciple's question, Feng Buan did not reserve it and briefly explained it in a long and concise manner. "Is it that simple?" Yi Yu was somewhat surprised and looked at the young junior sister. "Is her background so simple?" "It's impossible, isn't it?" The teacher's mind is full of confusion. Why is it impossible? She doesn't even know what special background she has. It's just that simple. I think her talent has a promising future, and it would be a waste if she didn't receive the right education, so I took her as an apprentice. Ayu, do you think there's any problem? After sealing off the uneven slightly jawline, it became strange. You should know that Yi Yu has an indifferent temperament and has never liked to interact with people. In the past, he even took in 2 apprentices and brought them to pay respects to his senior brother without asking any questions. At most, he would just give him a meeting gift. It is rare for him to have such a meaningful understanding like today. I think she's quite special. Yi Yu did not conceal his attitude and opinions, and spoke frankly. Leaving aside everything else, based solely on the unknown death date of the junior sister, it can be confirmed that Shixinshui is different from others. In the face of Tianxian disaster day, even the imperial realm would fall, but she bravely broke out of the encirclement, creating an unknown world. For example, what? Feng Ping also became interested in hearing this statement. He just took the inspiration of his master and became his disciple, just like meeting Yi Yu back then. As the topic progressed, Shixinshui also perked up her ears, feeling curious. She didn't even know what was special about her. Especially cute. Yi Yu originally intended to use cliché as, but didn't expect her master to ask like this. After pausing for a few seconds, it was difficult to say that her death date was unknown and fate could not predict this. So he looked at the young junior sister and casually said. "This is true. From the appearance, this child looks really cute." This statement truly surprised 2 people. "Can you say that this child has finally enlightened?" Feng Bu exclaimed with excitement. "Why is senior brother like this?" Shixinshui was shocked and a bit shy. He didn't expect him to take such a big turn to praise himself. "Damn it, why is this child shy?" "I was just casually saying it, not intentionally teasing you." Before she could be shy for long, Shixinshui heard her inner voice and calmed down. "Just say it casually. That is to say, this is not true. A person's voice is undoubtedly the most genuine idea. So, do you really like her appearance?" Feng Bu looked at the junior apprentice and then at the senior apprentice, and suddenly became interested. He asked with a smile. "When we first met just now, Shixinshui was very fond of Yi Yu's appearance. Now that Yi Yu also likes Shixinshui's appearance, it's like 2 people are in love and eye to eye. Perhaps he can match these 2 people and solve the long-standing concerns. Yi Yu's personality is too solitary, he doesn't like to interact with people, and he has a great talent. Becoming a strong emperor is a sure thing. He is already old, and his cultivation has also encountered a bottleneck. At most, if he lives for a few hundred years, his lifespan will come to an end. The most worrying thing in these years is that after his own death in the underworld, he will be left alone, with no relatives or family. No, I just think her appearance is very outstanding. She doesn't seem like a child from an ordinary family, and her background may not be simple. Yi Yu anticipated his operation and said calmly. In the heavenly mysterious continent where power is paramount, bloodline theory is very prevalent. As the saying goes, dragons give birth to dragons, phoenixes give birth to phoenixes. He doesn't think an ordinary family can give birth to a daughter with silver hair and golden eyes. Hiss. Master, you probably don't really want to match me and this child, do you? Don't mess with me, I don't want to be a lowly queen. Despite that, the master's smiling expression still gave him a headache. Shi Xinshui was reminded by his inner voice and couldn't help but glance at his master, feeling that his gaze was strange. Master, are you going to match me and senior brother? I don't know. By the way, what does Lawton mean? Her background is actually quite simple. She came from a small town on the edge of the southern Tianyu Emperor's dynasty, a small family in Lianyan City. I have thoroughly investigated everything, and there will be no mistakes. On the contrary, her physical condition is indeed very special. Feng Bu saw that he denied it completely and was not in a hurry, so he gave a detailed introduction. What is her constitution? Upon hearing this statement, Yi Yu immediately asked. In the heavenly mysterious continent, there are many strange and peculiar constitutions, among which the 10,000 laws of the true dragon clan do not invade the true dragon's body, which is the strongest representative. This invincibility of all laws means, literally, invincibility of all laws. To fight against a true dragon, one must rely on hand-to-hand combat. However, it can not only engage in hand combat with you, but also bombard you with divine magic spells. It is precisely with such physique that the true dragon clan has secured its position as the leader of the 100 clans and has not been shaken for many years. Unlike other races, the physique of the human race is usually fixed in a few types. The physique of the human race is diverse, with a very low lower limit and a very high upper limit. I don't know, as a teacher, I can only tell that her physique is unusual. Would you like to help her take a look? Perhaps she has some eyebrows. Feng Bu shook his head slightly and suggested with a smile. Master, do you really or falsely know? Upon hearing this, Yi Yu paused and looked at him with a hint of nostalgia. There are 3 common methods to observe a person's physical condition. The first type is for the other party to directly demonstrate their physical strength, relying on their knowledge and experience to recognize and distinguish. The second type is embodied in blood, with a strong physique and blood containing supernatural power. The third type is physical contact, which penetrates the mind into a person's body and allows them to see their flesh and blood structure. They can then read books at www.yuyukeangshu.net to distinguish them. Okay, it's perfect to see what exactly happened to her. That's what I said, but Yi Yu quite agrees with this proposal. What did I lie to you for? I really can't see through what kind of physique she has, but what's certain is that it's unusual. Feng Bu knew that he was arrogant and had no regard for ordinary women. He decisively endorsed his mentor's heart. Junior sister, give me your hand. Yi Yu slightly lowered his head and didn't hesitate. As the senior brother, it is reasonable to understand the situation of the junior sister. Okay. This statement was very domineering, not an inquiry at all, but more like an adult's command to a child. Shi Xinshui obediently nodded and extended his hand. This hand is too small, I need to pinch it hard, I'm afraid it might break a bone. Yi Yu reached out to catch her little hand and couldn't help but think. Upon hearing this inner voice, Shi Xinshui thought he wanted to crush his hand, like a frightened rabbit, and instinctively wanted to withdraw his hand. However, this child is just a cultivator returning to the wheel realm, where can he escape the palm of Yi Yu's hand? Don't move. Due to the struggle of Shixinshui, Yi Yu felt her tender and boneless white hands moving back and forth in her palm, and immediately said. The teacher's delicate body trembled as he was scolded by his adult and child's tone of command, and he immediately dared not move. What constitution is this? At the same time, Yi Yu infused his spiritual consciousness directly into her body through physical contact, and immediately became interested. I saw her flesh and blood covered in golden starlight, with the sun and moon residing in her eyes, and her internal organs and divine shadows hovering over it. Chapter 4. The Method of Breaking the Game. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The book Tianxian-yi-wen-lu records various strange and interesting stories in the Tianxian continent. For example, the ranking of the 100 ethnic groups, the pride of each ethnic group, and the supreme of different eras occupy different chapters. And the Tianxian-yi-wen-lu Physical Constitution chapter collects and records in detail every physical constitution that has appeared from ancient times to the present. Yi Yu has read this book, but Shi Xinshui's physical condition still exceeds his understanding. The double pupils of the sun and moon are a manifestation of the holy communion of the sun and moon. Blood and flesh contain starlight, which is a manifestation of the celestial body. The combination of these two forms the Taiyu divine body. The problem lies in the fact that within the body of Shixinshui, there are also gods and shadows residing in the 5 organs and 6 viscera, as if there is a deity residing within the body, which is completely mismatched. It can be certain that the constitution of Shixinshui is extremely rare, and it may even surpass the 3rd-ranked Taiyu divine body on the top 10 constitutions list. No wonder the master can't recognize her origin. This physique is probably the first time it has appeared in history and modern times. Is this what makes her special? No, either the sun-moon sacred body or the star's sacred body, once born, will inevitably cause celestial and celestial phenomena. The Taiyu divine body can also cause celestial and celestial phenomena in a domain. This child's physique is even stronger than that of the Taiyu divine body. How could it not have been taught by a famous teacher? Under normal circumstances, let alone the Taiyu divine body, even the sun and moon holy body. Once it comes to life, the illusion of the sun and moon in the sky, fluctuating in one direction, is enough to attract the 5 major forces of the human race to compete for apprenticeship. How could they not have met a famous teacher at the age of 11? Unless this child did not cause any celestial anomalies when he was born, but such a shocking and ghostly cry is enough to rank among the top 10 constitutions of ancient and modern times, and it is impossible for him to have no anomalies. Either when she was born, a strong person shielded her from the heavens and the earth, or her physique was formed after birth. If there is really a strong person behind her, then she was met by her master, probably not by chance, but deliberately. If it is formed after tomorrow, there must be a great opportunity, perhaps it is a way to break the situation. This child definitely has some big secret. Do you want to search her soul? But she's too weak. If you search her soul, you'll have to become an idiot even if you don't die. Shi Xinshui listened to his psychological activities, and the more he listened, the more he became alarmed. When Master Mingming probed her physique, it was a pleasure, like picking up a treasure. Why did senior brother want to search her soul when it was his turn? Have you gained anything? Feng Bu was very optimistic about the potential of this young apprentice. After waiting for a moment, he saw that Yi Yu remained expressionless and did not receive any feedback. He asked impatiently. Her physique is very strong. If she chooses the right cultivation method based on her physique and fully unleashes her potential, it will be difficult to find opponents within the same realm. Yi Yu suppressed his soul-searching thoughts, released Shi Xinshui's hand, and nodded. Physical fitness is a trait for strong individuals. In the same realm, if you have physical fitness but your opponent does not, you have an additional trump card, which is also a strong reliance on others. Of course, physical fitness does not necessarily mean invincibility. According to the records of Yiwenlu, there was a period in the Tianxian continent where the theory of physical fitness being useless prevailed. Because the vast majority of physical fitness is innate, some people believe that the existence of physical fitness limits a person's development space and diversity. The fact is the same. Although physical fitness can enable people to gain huge benefits and enter specific fields with lightning speed, it is precisely because the breakthrough speed is too fast that there have been situations where the foundation is unstable, leading to being stuck in a certain realm. However, this theory was ruthlessly overturned in front of the invincible body of the true Dragon Clan. No matter how much argument and evidence you have, in the face of absolute strength, you are all mediocre. Right, I'll say her future is promising, and she's still young with a lot of room for improvement. If she's nurtured, she might become a peer like you. Feng Bu, seeing his tone, clearly recognized Shi Xinshui's talent and was very proud. It has to be said that his luck is really good. When he was wandering around, he met Yi Yu by chance, and this time he met Shi Xinshui again. Finally, he freed himself from the clutches of his senior brother. Shi Xinshui withdrew his hand and breathed a sigh of relief, grateful that he had escaped unscathed and his palm had not been crushed. Yeah. Yi Yu nodded when he saw his enthusiasm rising. As he spoke, he glanced at Shi Xinshui. It's impossible for this child to become a peer supreme. At this moment, Shi Xinshui heard his inner voice again. She found that she couldn't fully read her senior brother's thoughts, only when he was talking to himself could she hear his thoughts. Master, can I really become a peer supreme like my senior brother? Shi Xinshui is still a child, at an age of not giving up. She couldn't understand why it was impossible and couldn't help but speak up. Of course, your physique is something that my teacher has never seen before, and it is not even recorded in ancient books, but its strength is beyond doubt. As long as you work hard to cultivate and fully unleash your potential, in time, it is also possible to defeat invincible opponents in the world. Feng Bu saw that she was finally willing to speak up, and patiently and kindly responded. Regarding the master's statement, Yi Yu wanted to give him some face. He silently took out his glass and poured wine for the master while nodding slightly to show his attitude. Master, who likes to draw big cakes for people so much, is he not afraid that this child will be mistreated by the true Dragon Clan in the future and doubt his life, and will never recover? Master, isn't senior brother invincible all over the world? Shi Xinshui heard his senior brother nodding in agreement on the side, but his thoughts were different and he asked again. That's right, your senior brother has never suffered a defeat since his cultivation, and he can be said to have stood alone and stood out from the crowd. Although he is the highest among his peers, in fact, even the older generation, who is ahead of him in terms of realm, is not inferior in front of him. What kind of physique is that senior brother so powerful? Master Xinshui doesn't believe it anymore. According to Master's words and senior brother's view just now, with such a strong physique, why can't one become the supreme master of the same generation? Is the senior brother's physique even stronger than hers? Your senior brother doesn't have a physical constitution, but his talent and intelligence can be described as arrogance towards the past and present. Feng Bu glanced at Yi Yu, paused, and then explained. What? So senior brother doesn't have a constitution? Upon hearing this, Shi Xinshui looked at Yi Yu in surprise. Does this child think I'm weak because they don't think I have physical fitness? Yi Yu, holding a glass of wine and planning to take a few sips, didn't get angry when he saw her pretentious appearance. He just gave her a ridiculous glance. As a strong person, he is not in a hurry when others say he is weak. Because people only get angry and jump when they are stabbed in pain, Yi Yu is very confident in his own strength. Glancing at him, Shi Xinshui, who was still very dissatisfied, seemed to have been poured with a basin of cold water. After calming down, he felt remorseful. She is definitely crazy. Senior brother is a big villain who kills without blinking an eye. How dare I provoke him in person? Mind water, without physique, does not mean weakness, and having physique does not mean strength. A strong person's strength is not limited to physique, but also many aspects, such as talent, mind, understanding, resources, background, luck. Just like your senior brother, even without physique, you can still fight invincible in the world. You have just started practicing, are young, and lack experience. In the future, you cannot have such a one-sided view that is biased and generalized. Seeing that what she said was not quite right, Phongbu immediately came to an end. Ayu, this child came from a small place and has little knowledge. I don't know how strong you are, so don't blame her. At the same time, Phongbuping was afraid that the words and actions of his disciple just now would clash with Yi Yu, and he secretly spread the message. Don't worry, master. How could I possibly argue with a little brat who is still wet and wet? Regarding this, Yi Yu also responded through voice communication. Chapter 5. Can you fly after eating? You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Shixinshui couldn't hear the master's transmission, but he heard what the senior brother said. The evaluation made her very angry, but she didn't dare to act and clenched her fist under the table. Being able to hear what others are saying is not necessarily a good thing. If she can't hear it, she doesn't have to bear this anger. Junior sister, are you born with this physique, or did you only develop it later? Yi Yu noticed her small gesture of clenching her fist in the dark, thinking that she was being taught by her master. Feeling dissatisfied, he asked. I don't know. Shixinshui shook his head. Think carefully. Seeing that her attitude was not very cooperative, Yi Yu stretched out his hand to wipe on the table and filled it with exquisite dim sum. These dim sum are exquisite, even emitting light and vision, such as rainbow sunset, late night stars, white clouds. Wow! Seeing the exquisite and dreamy desserts, Shixinshui's attention was immediately hooked. She was a child who had walked out of a small and secluded city like Lianyan City, and had never seen such exquisite and delicious desserts before. Looking at the dazzling array of desserts, the teacher's saliva was about to flow down, and instinctively reached out to grab a pure white pastry. However, just as she was about to encounter it, she restrained her impulse and looked up at her senior brother, unsure if it was for her to eat. Is it so polite? Yi Yu was surprised to find that she had restrained herself. He slightly lowered his head and gestured for her to continue. With his consent, Shixinshui finally picked up a piece of cake and started eating it. In fact, the reason why she was probing was not because she was impolite, but simply because she was afraid of her senior brother. It's so sweet. I took a bite of the soft and glutinous rice cake, and the wonderful taste made my heart water. She, who is only returning to the realm of the wheel, has not yet reached the realm of clearing the valley. Delicious food is extremely attractive to her. And this pastry is very special, containing a majestic yet gentle vitality. Just taking a bite is like biting a cloud, and the light and floating feeling spreads like ripples, spreading all over the body. In a daze, she seemed to see herself standing on top of the clouds, chasing the clouds and gnawing on them, her soul sublimated at this moment. When a person is satisfied, a smile can't help but show. To deal with children, we really have to rely on candy and desserts. Seeing her genuinely cute smile, Yi Yu was also somewhat happy. Senior brother, I really don't know what kind of constitution I have. It was my master who told me about my special constitution. After taking a few more bites and swallowing the rice cake, Shixinshui looked at the other desserts and said with some nervousness. Eating people with soft mouths and short hands, the senior brother took out these desserts not for free, but to ask her a question. But she couldn't give a satisfactory answer. Have you ever eaten anything very special in your impression? Yi Yu was not in a hurry, but guided her. Does this count? Upon hearing this, Shixinshui paused and pointed to the plate of rice cake in front of him. This rice cake is definitely the most delicious thing she has ever tasted since she was young. Is it a congenital constitution? The clue is broken. I don't know what would happen if she were buried. Seeing her reaction, Yi Yu had already received the answer and his mind sank. To be honest, he really hopes that the constitution of Shixinshui is formed by taking some kind of Tianjin Dibao after birth. Because in this case, as long as he finds this precious treasure, he can solve the problem of his master dying on the day of the Tianxian disaster. Although it is uncertain whether this value is equivalent to celebrating the Tianxian disaster day, it is still stronger than the master's precise countdown to death. Senior brother, I'm sorry, I will return the dessert just now to you. Shixinshui thought he couldn't answer the question, which made him dissatisfied. He was suddenly surprised and immediately said, "You don't need to return it, these desserts were bought for you by me." Yi Yu saw her apologize and comforted her. "No, I will definitely return it to you. Master, how much does this rice cake cost?" However, Shixinshui was afraid that he would bury himself, so he was determined to return it and immediately asked. "Ah." This question directly stopped Feng Buan and turned to his disciple. "This is the signature dessert of the Imperial Banquet Building, Luoyun cake. 5,000 top-quality yuan crystals are served on a plate, totaling 4 yuan. If you really want to return it to me, just give me 1250 top-quality yuan crystals." Yi Yu saw that master had no idea about this, so he took the question and answered it on his behalf. "So expensive. Can you fly after eating it?" As soon as these words were spoken, Feng Buping was immediately startled and wanted to curse the street for a moment. 5,000 top-quality elemental crystals, for him as a strong person in the wilderness, it's not impossible to take them out. But buying a dessert with 5,000 top-quality elemental crystals is also too extravagant. With so many elemental crystals, you can buy a 7th-grade pill that is useful for the Earth King realm. Upon hearing this price, Shixinshui felt numb and his mind went blank. What is the concept of 1250 top-quality elemental crystals? Her family is located in Lianyungang and can be considered the backbone of the family. They have 7 stores and earned over 600 high-quality yuan crystals last year, worth 6 top-quality yuan crystals. Yu reading www.yuyukangshu.net. That is to say, she just ate a piece of rice cake and directly consumed the profits of the teacher's family for 200 years. Senior brother, is this too bold? A plate of desserts taken out casually is worth 5,000 top-quality elemental crystals. Master, this is spiritual food. Eating it can't fly, but it can help nourish the foundation, promote blood circulation and refine essence, and heal hidden injuries. The imperial clan grew up eating this kind of food, and they are all so powerful. Seeing that she had an idea about this price, Yi Yu was a bit amused and then explained. Isn't the imperial banquet tower only accessible to the imperial realm and the imperial clan's direct lineage? How could you have such a thing? Feng Buan realized the purpose of this thing and no longer felt extravagant, but when he reacted, he felt strange. The origin of this imperial banquet building is too big. Ordinary people cannot enter it, even if it is a true dragon clan. You must be a direct blood relative of the imperial realm to enter, even if you have the appearance of a great emperor. It is not an exaggeration to say that the Imperial Banquet Tower can be said to be the top-tier restaurant in the Tianxian continent, without one. Many people take pride in entering and exiting the Imperial Banquet Tower. I haven't been there before, this was given to me by someone else. Yi Yu spread out his hand and smiled. This is from killing people and stealing goods. I can't bear to spend so much money to buy this dim sum, but don't tell the master about it. After all, the identity of the corpse devil is too evil, and there are many mistakes. Shixinshui listened to his innermost thoughts and looked at the corner of his mouth that curled up a light smile, feeling a sense of curiosity in his heart. Corpse demon, what is that? No wonder. I just said you're not a extravagant and wasteful person. Feng Ping didn't doubt him, breathed a sigh of relief, and smiled happily. Buying a dim sum with 5,000 top-quality yuan jing is totally the behavior of the black sheep. Chapter 6. Corpse Demon. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Junior sister, let's have some more. The master and the apprentice chatted for a while. Yi Yu noticed that the master Xinshui was sitting beside him, looking at the dim sum on the table eagerly. He looked greedy and funny. Sure enough, it is natural for children to be greedy and playful. I won't eat anymore, it's too expensive and I can't afford it. Although I really wanted to eat it, and the thought of that taste made my mouth water, Xinshui still shook his head and refused. Before leaving Lianyan City, her parents strongly warned her that there is no free lunch in the world. She must resist temptation and not fall into the trap of others step by step. Of course, the fundamental reason why she would refuse is that senior brother is too scary. The inner voice won't deceive anyone. That is to say, the idea that senior brother just thought of burying her is true. Since you don't want to eat, I'll put it away and give it to others in the future. Yi Yu saw that she was still struggling with this matter, and he did not hesitate to use the storage ring to collect the dim sum on the table. However, he deliberately slowed down his movements and took them one by one. Ah! Seeing those delicious and good-looking dim sum, they disappeared under the magic claws of the elder martial brother, and the spirit of the teacher suddenly broke down. The feeling of loss and depression showed in his face, and his hands were pressed on the edge of the table, like a dog of Wei Chu Baba. She really wanted to stop it, but the thought of Master Brother's momentary plan to bury her thoughts made her hesitate. Seeing her anxious expression with a bitter face, Yi Yu's movements did not stop, but he repeated the matter. Ha ha ha. Although he had no expression on his face, Xinshui had already heard his joyful laughter in his heart, and his mood was even more depressed. Feng Buan next to him shook his head amused when he saw the little apprentice being played around by the big apprentice. Perhaps due to their advanced age, seeing their interaction and fun, Feng Bu felt very relieved. You should know that Yi Yu has an indifferent temperament. Apart from being enthusiastic when interacting with his master, he has always disliked talking nonsense and is willing to tease his master's mind, which is already a rare thing. By the way, Xinshui said she wants to practice here. What do you think? Realizing that Yi Yu really likes Xinshui, Feng Bu also suggested taking advantage of the hot iron. If the arrival of Xinshui could open Yi Yu's heart and accept a new person, it would definitely be a good thing. No, I don't want to. Before Yi Yu could answer, Xinshui shook his head wildly like a tambourine. Just kidding, after spending so much time with her senior brother, she was already suffering a lot. If she lived together, she felt like she couldn't predict which day the world would evaporate. She can be certain that she can read the voice of her senior brother, and once exposed, she will definitely be dead without a whole body. Don't you want to? Feng Ping didn't expect her reaction to be like this, she was very surprised. Xinshui nodded with unwavering determination. Although this mountain is beautiful, with extremely strong vitality in heaven and earth, and beautiful scenery. But my life is in danger. At the same time, Yi Yu, who happened to collect all the dim sum, was also surprised and puzzled. Didn't the child really want to live here just now? How did he change his mind? I was angry because I didn't give her dim sum. No, she seems to think I'm very handsome. Is she shy? That's right. Ever since she saw me, her eyes have always been evasive and nervous. This is definitely her reaction to liking me and letting her live with me. It's too exciting for her. Ah. This damn handsome guy is really going to cause trouble. It's okay to attract beautiful women. What's the point of attracting a little girl? I don't want to be a lowly fan. But it's good for her to change her mind, otherwise I don't know how to refuse the master. Who has fallen in love with you? Xinshui muttered to himself when he heard the voice of his senior brother and glanced at his handsome face. It must be admitted that the senior brother is indeed a handsome guy, but she has received excellent family education since childhood, so she will never fall in love with a bad guy. Sure enough, knowing people knows face but not heart. If it weren't for hearing the voice of senior brother, she wouldn't have known that senior brother was so bad. Since you don't want it, then forget it. Phongbu didn't demand this attitude from her, as they were all members of the 9 Heavenly Pavilion and were also senior siblings. There would be plenty of opportunities in the future. Putting aside the matter of the junior sister for the time being, Yi Yu and Phongbu, the master and disciple, started chatting. During this period, Shi Xinshui sat beside him, very obedient and silent. She discovered something, that although the senior brother appeared indifferent on the surface, he actually had a lot of hidden thoughts. Without targeting her senior brother, she suddenly realized that it was quite interesting to be able to read his thoughts. For example, when it comes to the recent emergence of Tianjiao and what earth-shattering things he has done, senior brother actually knows about it for a long time, but in order to make his master happy, he still pretends to hear it for the first time. Because he was still with his young apprentice, Phongbu did not stay for a long time this time. Instead, after staying for more than an hour, he was worried that Shixinshui, the little girl, would feel bored. When he saw this, he almost went back home. Heartwater, say goodbye to your senior brother. In front of the gate of the mansion, Phongbu was also teaching his little disciple. Senior brother, we will meet later. Upon hearing this request, Shi Xinshui arched his hand and said, "It can be considered that I can separate from my senior brother. Although reading my thoughts and understanding my senior brother's thoughts is not tiring, holding a smile is really tiring." She was really scared, afraid that she might accidentally laugh out loud and attract the attention and suspicion of her senior brother. Junior sister, I'll see you later. Upon hearing this, Yi Yu was taken aback and bowed in return. After a few pleasantries, Phongbu left with his mentor's heart water. There are still 2 days before Yan Tianhao's death, so it's time to prepare to go out. Watching their figures go down the mountain, Yi Yucai turned around and returned to the mansion. Bang! As he entered the mansion, the door automatically closed with a dull sound. Shi Xinshui didn't know how far the distance of reading the heart was, but before leaving, he heard this heartfelt voice and had no further thoughts. Xinshui, who did you learn this formal farewell from? Leaving Linlang Mountain, Phongbu led her into the air, and on the way, recalling the previous parting, he couldn't help but laugh. Meeting again later. This way of saying goodbye was unexpected for him. My dad, he said goodbye to his uncles and friends like this. Shixinshui didn't think there was any problem, he answered truthfully. So. Feng Ping was a bit conflicted about whether to correct her way of saying goodbye, but she quickly gave up. It's better to be formal than hasty. By the way, master, have you ever heard of a corpse demon? As he gradually drifted away, Shixinshui felt that this distance should no longer be noticed by the senior brother, so he couldn't resist his curiosity and asked. Of course I know, has the reputation of the corpse demon spread to your small town? Upon hearing this question, Phongbu nodded naturally and felt surprised. What kind of person is a corpse demon? When Shi Xinshui was in Lianyan City, he had never heard of this name, but when he asked, he nodded. I don't know either, because no one knows what the true face of the corpse demon is, let alone what kind of divinity it is. However, there is one thing worth affirming. The corpse demon is very dangerous. Phongbu shook his head slightly and mentioned such a dangerous person. His kind face showed a serious expression of extreme fear. Chapter 7. Don't provoke corpse demons. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Why? Upon hearing this statement, Shi Xinshui's heart rate inexplicably accelerated. According to legend, the corpse demon is a symbol of death. It emerged out of thin air 14 years ago and its only purpose in the world was to collect corpses. Although it came and went without a trace, in fact, its trajectory is traceable because it will target all those who are about to die. In other words, if you see the corpse demon, it means you are not far from death. Feng Pingjian saw that she was very curious about these legendary characters and deliberately spoke in a frightening tone, word by word. Wow! Upon hearing his insincere explanation, Shixinshui was unaware of it. Mind water, you probably haven't seen a corpse demon before, have you? Seeing her reaction, Fengbu suddenly thought of a possibility and immediately asked. The goal of the corpse demon is not to distinguish between high and low realms, but they all share a common trait, which is being an outstanding person. The corpse of an ordinary person seems to be unattractive, and its target is the strong and the proud of heaven. And the potential of Shixinshui is extremely high, with an extraordinary physique, even appearing for the first time since ancient times, and it is very likely to be targeted. No, I just heard that zombies are very dangerous characters and I want to know if they are dangerous in the master's eyes. Shixinshui was stunned for a moment and shook his head. Of course she has. She just sat face-to-face chatting. However, she dare not admit it. The master still doesn't know that the senior brother is a corpse demon. If there is any news leaked from her, once the senior brother is traced, she will be dead. Realizing the fundamental reason for her curiosity, Fengbu Ping, in order to make her take it as a warning, held a respectful heart, and also provided an unreserved explanation. Very dangerous. Extremely dangerous, the corpse demon is very strong. Its famous battle was 4 years ago. At that time, there were 2 heavenly sovereigns fighting in the western region's forbidden area, namely the Flame Soul Heavenly Sovereign of the Soul Clan and the Swallowing Star Heavenly Sovereign of the Ancient Clan. Just as the outcome was already divided, the corpse demon appeared and wanted to take away the body of the defeated and deceased Swallowing Star Heavenly Sovereign. The Flame Soul Heavenly Sovereign paid a heavy price to defeat his opponent. How could he watch the outcome of the battle be taken away and angrily attack the corpse demon? However, this move brought about consequences, as the corpse demon instantly killed the Flame Soul Heavenly Lord. Although Lai Hun Tianzun has just experienced a fierce battle and suffered injuries, he is still a quasi-emperor realm powerhouse with great perfection in the Tianzun realm, and he is also a soul clan, whose strength cannot be underestimated. After this battle, the corpse demon gained a great reputation and received widespread attention, and its actions became increasingly active. So far, there have been a total of 19 heavenly sovereigns in the realm where it has taken away their bodies. Among them, 13 heavenly sovereigns died in battle and were taken away by it, and 6 heavenly sovereigns attacked it and were killed and taken away by it. There are also rumors that a powerful member of the Soul Clan's imperial realm, the biological father of the Flame Soul Heavenly Lord, wanted to avenge his son and died tragically under the hands of the corpse demon. I don't know if this is true or false, it's just a rumor, but the estimation of the corpse demon's strength in the heavenly mysteries and strange stories is at least in the middle of the imperial realm. Hiss. So that means the corpse demon is a powerful emperor. Upon hearing this explanation, Shixinshui took a deep breath of air and was extremely shocked. That is to say, is senior brother a powerful emperor? Although she doesn't know how strong the imperial realm is, according to the mnemonic of dividing cultivation realms, the imperial realm is the last realm. For a moment, she was both happy and worried. Good news, senior brother is so powerful. If she gets bullied one day, she can still bring in reinforcements. Bad news, senior brother is so powerful. If one day he has a murderous heart towards her, no one can stop him. That's right, Shinshui. If you encounter a corpse demon someday in the future, such as when it wants to take a corpse in front of you, never stop or attack it. According to the investigation of Jiutian Pavilion, the corpse demon rarely initiates attacks and only appears at the moment when its target dies. As long as it obtains the corpse, it will leave. Fengbu slightly lowered his head, with a serious expression, not at all jokingly giving serious advice. Regarding such teachings, they have been widely spread among major powers in recent years. In short, do not provoke corpse demons. At the request of the cabinet owner, he also reminded Yi Yu 2 years ago. Fortunately, Shinshui took the initiative to bring up this matter, otherwise he almost forgot about it. Although he felt that forgetting was not a problem because his mind was still young and weak in the realm of returning to the wheel, it was impossible for him to actively attack the corpse demon. Got it. Teacher Shinshui nodded without hesitation. Are you joking, asking her to attack the senior brother and seek death? The reason why a corpse demon is because it has a strong pursuit of corpses and does not know what it wants from so many corpses. Many people speculate that it is practicing some kind of evil skill. Seeing her obediently agreeing, Fengbu couldn't help but sigh. Maybe it was taken back and buried. Feeling remorseful about this, Shinshui couldn't help but mutter. Ha ha ha, there is indeed a possibility. You are so smart. Fengbu was taken aback at the words, then burst into laughter and used his hand to press her head, praising her. As a master, the first lesson is to cultivate the confidence of the disciple and recognize their actions. At Linlang Mountain, Yi Yu did not lie on the grass by the cliff to bask in the sun anymore, but sat alone in front of a stone table in the courtyard. What would be the burial reward for 3 question marks? Lonely people always have many thoughts and a habit of talking to themselves, and Yi Yu is just like that. He didn't expect his junior sister to die soon so that he could bury her and get a reward. It was just his first time encountering such a situation, and he was a little curious. The reason why he pays extra attention to his junior sister and intentionally understands her is because he always feels that this may be a turning point to save his master. In thought, he opened the system panel. Name. Yi Yu, age. 37, realm. Heavenly Sovereign Realm late stage, weapon. Spear, armor piercing. 87%, closed, vampire. 165%, resilience. 83%, critical strike rate. 215%, overflow of critical strike rate will convert into critical strike damage, counterattack chance. 82%, closed, dodge chance. 59%, in middle of opening, combo count. 28, weapon adaptation, intelligence. 156 times, these special attributes, Yu reading www.yuyukeangshu.net, are his rewards for helping people collect and bury corpses, a 25-year harvest. His special attributes, each one of which is extraordinary. For example, armor piercing, his attacks can ignore 87% of the enemy's defense, and as long as he can hit, he can definitely cause damage to the enemy. For example, vampire, even if he is injured, as long as he beats the person half to death, he can be resurrected with full blood. For example, resilience, he is immune to the vast majority of control. The number of combos is also terrifying, allowing him to freely change his combat style. If he uses bows and arrows, the combo count will adapt to multiple arrows, allowing for group attacks or long-range single attacks. If he uses a giant sickle, the combo count will adapt to sweeping and be able to attack in a wide range. This is a weapon prepared for the identity of a corpse demon. The function of the burial system is very simple, which is to see the death date of others, help them collect corpses, bury and erect tombs, write down major life stories, and obtain treasure chests. Opening the treasure chest will randomly obtain special attributes. Having such special attributes gives him the confidence to fight against the Emperor realm in the later stage of the Heavenly Sovereign realm. Counterattacks and armor piercing must be turned off in daily life because their judgments are very domineering. For example, a counterattack, even if someone touches him, will trigger an automatic counterattack. As for armor piercing, a gentle touch from him can cause terrifying damage. Chapter 8. Without seeing his person, hear his voice first. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Tianxian continent is divided into 5 domains. Southeast, Northwest, and Central regions. There are 4 poles in all directions, which is the forbidden zone of life. Being on the mainland, no matter which direction you go, the farther you go, the more dangerous it becomes. For example, in the southern region, heading south, before reaching the end, one must first climb over 100,000 mountains in order to enter the forbidden zone of life, the lifeless forest. No one knows what will happen at the end of the square, and so far no creature has returned after reaching the end of the square's forbidden zone. The central region, on the other hand, is undoubtedly the central area of the Tianxian continent, occupied by the true Dragon Clan, the leader of the 100 tribes. A nameless forbidden mountain located in the depths of 100,000 mountains south of the southern regions. Wearing a black robe and his face shrouded in black mist, Yi Yu, who couldn't see his appearance clearly, placed a broken body into a dug pit, then used his elemental strength to control the soil and bury it. Finally, he summoned a stone from the air and stood in front of the tomb. He pointed his fingers vertically and carved 6 large characters on the tombstone, Tomb of the Great Sage of Chaos, and then carved small characters next to it. Yan Tianhao, who lost his family and became an orphan in his early years, once begged, flowed through the waves, joined the army, and also lived under the supervision of others. He became a servant and endured countless hardships, but he remained strong and unyielding throughout his life. At the age of 375, he proclaimed himself king and became a saint at the age of 855. He was the head of the Yan family in the northern regions, and was a late bloomer. However, his talent was insufficient and he needed a lot of resources. He struggled between life and death throughout his life. At the age of 2648, he fell from the death ice vein in the northern regions. Writing down the name and life story of the tomb owner, the words, "Task completed," appeared in front of Yi Yu. Bury Yan Tianhao and reward him with a level 6 treasure chest, get it done. Upon receiving the treasure chest, Yi Yu clapped his hands, tapping against the non-existent dust and nodded as he completed his task. Today is different from before. It used to be quite troublesome for him to want to bury someone else. Because the power of this world is very strong, it can be said that destroying corpses is easy, so he must compete with people. But now, with the increasing strength and the widespread reputation of the corpse demon, it is easy for him to collect the corpse. He only needs to appear when the target dies and take the corpse away. Before others see him appear, they must first weigh whether it is worth fighting against the corpse demon for a corpse. The burial system is not just about killing someone and burying them casually. Based on years of experience, Yi Yu has summarized a key point. The level of the treasure chest is not evaluated based on realm and strength, and the target should have fame. In short, the tomb owner cannot be an unknown person, but should have a commendable life story. For example, Yan Tianhao, as a strong figure in the desolate holy realm, has no arrogant demeanor. His combat power is not outstanding in the same realm, but he is strong throughout his life and strives to forge a path for the strong. For those with mediocre qualifications, his life stories are very inspiring, and he is also considered a number 1 person and object in the northern regions. Why is the level of the treasure chest evaluated in this way? Yi Yu thinks it may be for future generations to recognize the name on the tombstone, right? It is worth mentioning that before the time of death, those who are killed by him in advance will have their treasure chest level automatically lowered by 3 levels. Perhaps the system doesn't want him to bury all sentient beings in order to become stronger. But in fact, if he really had the idea of burying the mortal world, even if it were automatically downgraded by 3 levels, there were so many creatures in the Tianxian continent that he would be invincible enough. In silence and contemplation, he also opened the burial reward for this time. Successfully opened level 6 treasure chest, rewards 2% blood sucking and 1% evasion. I also dodged, it seems that I'm lucky this time. Yi Yu was quite satisfied with this reward. Because the value of this special attribute is very low, being able to make up for it is naturally a good thing. After finishing this matter, he looked up and saw the densely packed tombstone standing on the ground, burying famous figures who had died in the past 20 years. Among them, there are peerless beauties, unparalleled powerhouses, young Tianjiao, and exotic emperors. Among these people, there are also a few acquaintances he has dealt with and spoken to, but they are already dead bones. In 25 years, where should the sun be buried when it's so big? Yi Yu looked at these tombstones without feeling sad, because there is always one death, it's just the difference between early death and late death, but he thought of a difficult problem. With this difficult problem in his arms, he turned around and took a few steps out, and his figure disappeared into the void. With his departure, a strange light shone in the darkness beneath the earth. It finally left. Hiding in the darkness, with eyes like eerie green flames, let out a long sigh of relief. When will this monster die? I don't want to guard this mountain anymore. There is also a strange beast with 3 eyes, crimson like blood, extremely afraid. The imperial realm of the Soul Clan has been dragged back and buried by it. However, it often kills people, and even dares to kill the imperial realm of the Soul Clan. Sooner or later, it will be besieged. Wait slowly, there will always be a day for it to emerge. The fire-eyed beast originally intended to tell the truth, but on second thought, it still had some hope. Beasts need to have dreams. If not, what is the difference from Walking Dead? The southern region is the main activity area of the human race, with a large number coexisting with other races. The human race has a total of 5 major forces, all concentrated in the southern region. Throughout history, for an unknown number of years, there were heroes of the human race who wanted to lead them out of the southern regions, but their development momentum was often limited by other races and failed to reach the heights of the 5 major forces. The human race has a strong adaptability to the environment, such as Shixinshui. After staying in Jiutian Pavilion for a few days, he has already integrated into the life here. On Mount Taiping, there are several mansions, which are the residences of Feng Ping and his disciples. Is the human race only ranked 9th among the 100 ethnic groups? In the open space outside the mansion, in front of a stone table, Shi Xinshui leaned her slender arms against the table, her palms supporting her cheeks like lotus flowers. A book was placed in front of her, and while listening to the class, she felt puzzled. The person who taught her was a woman with black hair like a waterfall, delicate facial features, slender arms, tall figure, fair skin, and a high and cold temperament. Junior sister, ranking 9th among the 100 clans is already very high. This is the ranking obtained by the human clan emperor through countless years of hard work and hard work. Do not be rude or disrespectful. Yu reading www.yuukangshu.net. Upon hearing this feeling, the black-haired woman frowned and scolded. Second senior sister, I don't mean to take it lightly anymore. I just think the human race should be higher. Shi Xinshui saw her angry and immediately defended herself. It's understandable that you think this way. Everyone expects the human race to be in a higher position, but it's important not to mention the phrase, only the 9th, in front of others, especially in front of your 3rd senior brother, who is an imperial clan. In front of the imperial clan, they will think that your attitude is unknowable. After reprimanding, seeing that she had the intention to change her mouth, Lin Jingwen slightly lowered her jaw and was still satisfied, so she warned. Teach people not to be afraid of not understanding, but to be afraid of not repenting. As a member of the 9 Heavens Pavilion, strength is not the primary key, the key is literacy and vision, to avoid disasters coming out of the mouth and losing the face of the sect. Shixinshui nodded obediently and jotted down these words. The so-called imperial clan refers to a family with powerful imperial realms. There are 2 types of imperial clans. One is the imperial clan with a great emperor in their seat, and the other is the heroic imperial clan who once had a great emperor but sacrificed themselves in battle for the human race. No matter which type of imperial clan it is the most powerful family of the human race, with a strong bloodline, independent of the 5 major forces, but standing at the top of the human race. Although the human race ranks 9th, it does not necessarily mean that the human race is stronger than the 10th place, such as in terms of individuality. Seeing that she was very obedient, Lin Jingwen held a book and continued to explain to her. At this moment, a deep and mature voice suddenly sounded in Shi Xinshui's ear. Is this attending a lecture on knowledge and experience? A few days later, I heard this voice again, and Shixinshui was suddenly startled. It was the arrival of the senior brother. Chapter 9. Rabbits do not eat grass by the nest. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yi Yu, who had made a special trip to bury Yan Tianhao, spent several days and finally returned to his sect. Because I wanted to appear in the Lingyuan treasure hunting experience, I returned to Linlang Peak and headed to Taiping Peak. I planned to have a detailed discussion with my master about this action plan. As soon as he entered the mountain, he saw second senior sister teaching junior sister. Upon observing this, Yi Yu did not procrastinate and flew straight to his master's mansion. Flying over the mansion, he descended directly from the sky. Senior brother. With his arrival, Shixinshui also stood up immediately and saluted him. Senior brother, you're here. Lin Jingwen was taken aback at the words, then turned her head and saw Yi Yu, with his black hair and starry eyes. She stood up immediately and walked forward, feeling extremely surprised. I've seen two junior sisters before. Where's the master? Faced with the greetings of the two junior sisters, Yi Yu bowed and asked. After speaking, his spare time swept a glance at the master's mind, feeling somewhat suspicious and strange. Is this girl so sensitive in perception? Even the second junior sister, Fa Long Jing, didn't notice me, but she did notice first. Upon hearing this heartfelt voice, Shixinshui's body stiffened. It's broken. I just thought about bowing to my senior brother, but I didn't pay attention to the order. This physique is really extraordinary. Just as she was whispering something was amiss, Yi Yu's inner voice made her breathe a sigh of relief. Fortunately, I have physical fitness. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to explain this clearly. Seeing this, Shixinshui was extremely grateful for his unique physique. Master has gone out. Senior brother, are you just looking for master this time? At the same time, Lin Jingwen answered the question and looked at Yi Yu with a radiant expression, asking coquettishly. Isn't second senior sister very aloof? How did she become like this? Upon hearing her delicate whispers, Shixinshui felt goosebumps rise and was shocked by the scene before him. These days, it has been the second senior sister who has been teaching her, such as eating, bathing, living and transportation, and understanding the affairs and rules of the Nine Heavens Pavilion. During this period, second senior sister was too strict. If she relaxed a little, she would be scolded, and even more so, she would not be restrained in her words and laughter. As a result, who was this woman with a bright smile? Is it really the second senior sister she knows? Otherwise, could I still come to find you? Although this second junior sister is quite beautiful, she has a problem with her brain. I have rejected her several times and still like this. And even if I really want to find a partner, the rabbit doesn't eat grass by the nest. Can you stop thinking about me and think about someone else? Upon hearing these delicate words, Yi Yu felt speechless in his heart. Although Lin Jingwen is outstanding in appearance, figure, and temperament, she has seen too many peerless beauties. To be honest, in his opinion, the second junior sister is no different from other women, and that's why she is not attractive to him. The day after tomorrow will be the Lingyuan treasure hunt. I need to participate this time, but for specific arrangements, I need to ask my master. Although he thought so in his heart, Yi Yu didn't speak his mind. After all, he was the second junior sister, so he didn't want to be too disgusted and just nodded slightly. Master should be back soon. Senior brother, why don't you sit down for a while? I'll go make tea for you. Lin Jingwen's attitude was very enthusiastic, and she finally managed to meet her senior brother once. She was afraid that he would want to keep him because her master was not present. Second junior sister, don't bother so much. I'll just wait here. Are you teaching me, junior sister? Seeing that she wanted to entertain herself, Yi Yu gently waved his hand and said. Junior sister has just joined the Nine Heavens Pavilion and has many things she doesn't know about the Tianxian continent. I am giving her a lesson on knowledge. Would you like to supervise her, senior brother? Confirming that he would not leave before the master returned, Lin Jingwen felt relieved and suggested. 5 years ago, the last time I saw my senior brother was 5 years ago. No wonder there has been such a big change. Second senior sister actually likes senior brother. But senior brother's reaction is not quite right. Seeing this, Shixinshui has already understood the situation. Love can make a person look unrecognizable. Although she is only 11 years old and not very familiar with the pattern and situation of the Tianxian continent, she still has a concept of the relationship between men and women. After all, she is very cute. Her mother and father are afraid that she will be deceived by others, and they teach her diligently in such matters. You're busy, I'll just wait next to you, I won't disturb you. How could you be interested in supervising such children's education classes, evading? After speaking, he didn't wait for Lin Jingwen to continue speaking before taking out a purple and gold token and walking to the side to contact his master. The senior brother is holding an elder token, which is of the same level as his master. In fact, his token should have been an honor elder token, but he felt that being an apprentice is not good enough to be one level higher than his master, so he refused. However, even though he did not hold a position in the cabinet, his status is still high and extremely prestigious. Seeing him walk away but not far away, although Lin Jingwen was still unsatisfied, she did not forcefully go to disturb him, but took the opportunity. Senior brother, you're so amazing. Shixinshui didn't expect this to happen again. He glanced at the purple gold token and was very shocked. The more I understand my senior brother, the more it broadens her horizons. Although he is a senior brother and sister, the eldest senior brother has already walked far away. Where the hell is this? The day after tomorrow, it's Lingyuan treasure hunting. After master returns, I'll ask him if he can take us to sea together. Then you'll know how powerful senior brother is. Although her reaction was already shocking, Lin Jingwen was still dissatisfied and said enthusiastically. A elder token is just the tip of the iceberg for senior brother. Okay. Upon hearing this, Shixinshui nodded excitedly. I can really go out now. Although these days have been very fulfilling, either practicing or attending classes every day, staying at Taiping Peak all the time is really boring. When she was in Lianyungang, even if she didn't go out every day, she would go out for a stroll every few days. And reading was really boring, although it was a gain in knowledge. Don't rush to be happy, the master hasn't agreed yet. Let's start class and finish today's knowledge class before the master comes back. Seeing her face full of joy, Lin Jingwen was also very excited, but she didn't forget the main matter. Second senior sister, do you like senior brother? After discovering that she had seen her senior brother, she had completely different faces from before and became very enthusiastic and easy to talk to. After thinking for a moment, Shixinshui asked Yu reading book www.yuyukangshu.net. Junior sister, I didn't expect you to be so discerning at such a young age. You've noticed it all, is it because we are very married? Upon hearing this, Lin Jingwen was somewhat excited and secretly glanced at her senior brother who had already walked far away before admitting in surprise. She likes her senior brother, and her master and third junior brother have long known about it, and I am also very aware of it. However, she encountered many difficulties in pursuing her senior brother. After confessing a few times, the senior brother didn't want to talk to her anymore. This time, the junior sister's question happened to create an opportunity. I didn't expect that the junior sister would also assist, what a godsend opportunity. With this in mind, she looked at her junior sister with a gentle and incredibly friendly gaze, and she didn't feel any pain for the child in the past few days. Why doesn't this girl open and pick up any pot? Although Yu walked far away, at this distance, even if their voices were low, they could still be heard clearly. He is really not interested in the admiration of the second junior sister, he really wants women. Women from all the tribes in the heavenly Xian continent will come over to embrace him. Why eat grass by the nest? Because it's obvious that you're particularly happy when you see senior brother. But senior brother doesn't seem to like you. Shixinshui couldn't help but think of what senior brother was not interested in second senior sister from the bottom of his heart just now. If she doesn't know, it's okay. Since she knows, second senior sister is taking care of her so much. She feels it's necessary to help second senior sister and let her go astray. I take back what I said earlier. Your eyes are not very good. Which eye of yours did you see that senior brother doesn't like me? Lin Jingwen, who was originally very happy, became unhappy upon hearing this and changed her expression on the spot. Chapter 10. There is no salvation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Shixinshui choked when he saw that she didn't listen to good people at all, and was at a loss for a moment. How should she answer this question? It can't be said that she can hear the voice of the senior brother, can she? Just kidding, senior brother is right next to her. If she says this, she might not see the sun tomorrow. I didn't expect junior sister to be so smart. At first glance, I could tell that I wasn't interested in second junior sister, but it's useless. If second junior sister could really listen to others' words, she would have given up long ago. At the same time, she also heard the voice of her senior brother. Yi Yu felt helpless about the love for his second junior sister. Due to the relationship between his senior siblings, he couldn't use force and could only keep a distance. Junior sister, aren't you trying to compete with me for senior brother, that's why you're saying that? It must be like this, you also like senior brother. With her words stuck, Lin Jingwen suddenly thought of a possibility when she couldn't find a reason. The eldest senior brother has extraordinary charm, and there are countless women who like him. Even though the younger junior sister is still young, she is still 11 years old. She is not a 3-year-old child, so she may not understand the relationship between men and women. How could it be? Faced with such doubts, the teacher's mind reflexively refutes them. She's afraid that even her senior brother won't have time, how could she possibly like it? Really don't like it. Seeing her decisive attitude, Lin Jingwen calmed down, but still remained skeptical. Really, the teacher nodded confidently. She only met her senior brother twice this time, and only met for such a short time. How could it be so easy for her to fall in love with someone? Undoubtedly, senior brother is indeed very handsome, even the most handsome man she has ever seen, but he is very bad and even bullies her. You lie, there's no way anyone wouldn't like senior brother. However, Lin Jingwen was not satisfied with the answer and frowned. There are so many people who don't like me. Junior sister, you really have nothing to do. Why bring up this topic? Yi Yu is very confident, but he also has self-awareness and slanders. There are indeed countless women who like him, including saints, emperors, and proud women from various powers. However, he is not interested in making others happy, nor is he a warm-hearted man, and he cannot reach the level of being loved by everyone. Who will save me? Seeing her attitude, Shixinshui felt like she wanted to cry without tears, fully understanding why senior brother thought second senior sister had a problem with her brain. Without hesitation, second senior sister is hopeless and too blind. If possible, she really wants to transfer her ability to listen to the voice of senior brother to second senior sister, and then everything will be fine. Caught in a predicament, she didn't know what to do and turned her gaze to the senior brother beside her for help. Don't look at me, I don't want to deal with second junior sister. I happen to take this opportunity to show this girl the dangers of society, and in the future, she will understand what can be said and what cannot be said. Facing her gaze, Yi Yu pretended to be invisible and turned around, muttering to himself. Big bad guy. Shixinshui was a bit angry. Even if the senior brother didn't help, he would still speak sarcastically in secret. By the way, second senior sister, what is Ling Yuan's treasure hunting? Without anyone to help, Shixinhui decided to forcibly shift the topic and asked curiously. Although it was stiff like this, Lin Jingwen observed that the senior brother had no intention of helping the junior sister, and was quite satisfied. Adhering to the task assigned by the master, she helped her clarify. Clear water leads to shallowness, green water leads to depth, black water leads to abyss, blue water leads to vastness, and yellow water leads to rapidity. Lingyuan is a mysterious area shrouded in black mist, with many powerful and strange creatures, which is the origin of its name. The spiritual abyss is very dangerous, for example, a stone, a grass, a leaf, or even a piece of land all have souls, which look no different from usual. Once a living creature approaches, it will automatically attack. Harmless things on weekdays are so dangerous in the spiritual abyss, and the abyssal spirits of humanoid beasts are even more terrifying. Nevertheless, within the body of the abyssal spirit lies a core called spirit crystal, which can help people cleanse their souls, heal soul injuries, and even improve their understanding. Its value is immeasurable. The Lingyuan, which possesses such natural resources and treasures, is undoubtedly a treasure mine of heaven and earth, attracting countless people to enter and harvest the Lingjing. Due to unrestrained hunting, the number of abyssal spirits is decreasing day by day. 3,600 years ago, in order to sustainably collect resources from the abyss, the 5 major forces of the human race discussed and officially stationed themselves, setting the rules for capturing treasures from the abyss. The spirit abyss will be opened every 5 years, and you only need to pay a certain amount of elemental crystals to enter and seize treasures. However, there are also conditions and constraints, such as the lowest realm being the Dharma Dragon realm and the highest realm being the Sacred Land. Usually at this time, the 5 major forces will send a team to enter. The lowest level is the Dharma Dragon realm, can't I enter? Upon learning the detailed situation of the treasure hunt in Lingyuan, Shixinhui thought of a question. She was originally looking forward to the possibility of going out this time, but now it seems that there is no chance at all. The conditions I just mentioned only apply to individuals. As long as the leader of the 5 major forces is willing, you can even enter the spiritual realm. Lin Jingwen's words dispelled her concerns about this. So, can I go in? Shixinhui's eyes are very watery. With their eyes wide open, they are both nervous and hopeful. Is it possible? Yu reading www.yuukangshu.net, but it depends on whether the master agrees or not. The master specifically called the senior brother here this time, and he may be responsible for leading the team. He is the person in charge of the Lingyuan treasure seizing 9 Heavens Pavilion. Lin Jingwen didn't say it too absolutely. After all, whether she can go to the Lingyuan to steal treasures depends on her master's decision. Can one participate in the Soul Abyss treasure hunt beyond the Holy Land of Desolation? Shixinhui couldn't help but glance at the senior brother not far away and asked. Although the master thinks that the eldest senior brother is in a desolate holy realm, she knows that the eldest senior brother is very likely to be a strong emperor realm. Of course not, beyond the desolate holy realm, it is the heavenly sovereign. The master said that at the beginning of each session of the Soul Abyss treasure hunt, the 5 major forces will send the heavenly sovereign realm strong ones to first enter the spirit abyss to hunt for the same level of abyssal spirits and eliminate threats above the desolate holy realm. Lin Jingwen shook her head and explained. On the surface, it may seem like eliminating threats, but in reality, the 5 major forces monopolize high-level spiritual crystals. Those scattered individuals will never expect to obtain spiritual crystals in the heavenly sovereign realm unless they join the 5 major forces. Standing not far away, Yi Yu didn't interrupt, just muttered to himself in his heart. This situation is not fair to individuals, but he has no objection to this approach. The 5 major forces have indeed occupied more benefits and engaged in internal conflicts, but with a multitude of ethnic groups, they have also contributed a lot to the strength of the human race. Moreover, He is also a profiteer under this set of hidden rules. Senior brother is in the Imperial realm. Can he participate in the Soul Abyss treasure hunt? Upon hearing this, Cixinhui felt puzzled. If possible, she still hopes to go with her senior brother. Perhaps senior brother is very dangerous, but it is built on the premise of being enemies with him. If it is as a friendly army, then senior brother is too reliable.